I built a tech startup with zero technical experience and zero professional funding, and here's how I did it. Back in October of 2023, I was laid off from my full-time tech job, and I found myself with a lot of free time and an idea that I'm really passionate about. In this video, I'm going to cover step-by-step how I came up with the idea, how I laid out the product roadmap and came up with an estimated budget, how I found technical partners and potential funding resources, how I laid out the product's legal roadmap, as well as eventually beta tested and launched the product. The first step to creating a successful business idea is by solving a problem. By solving a problem, you're enabling people to use your solution to solve this problem that they already have. I've been a musician the last 15 years, and I've come to learn through hardship and personal experience that musicians only retain 12% of revenue across the entire music industry. Because of this, I only earn about 0.03 of a dollar per stream, which is ridiculous because I'm the one making the music. So to solve this problem, I wanted to create a platform that would allow musicians to own their music, their fan base, their data, and keep 100% of everything earned while doing it. And thus, the idea for Groupii.ai was born. In my opinion, one of the most important, if not the most important part of creating a business is coming up with a clear and concise mission statement on what your business does and who you're helping. In the case of Groupii.ai, it's music fans and artists create, connect, and support each other. It's a very clear and concise mission statement that says what we do and why we do it. The next aspect of ensuring that you have a great business idea is making sure that it's scalable. In the case of Groupii.ai, we would consider ourselves part of the creator economy, as that's the bucket musicians fall into. According to research available online, I found that the creator economy is set to explode over the next 3 years from $250 billion to $480 billion. This shows me that this is a great industry to expand into and that Groupii.ai will be able to find its place in the creator economy. Now, the last step in ensuring that you have a great business idea is assessing the competitive landscape. Now, according to research online, for Groupii, our competitors would be considered Patreon.com and Fanfics.com. According to user complaints available online for Patreon and Fanfics, the largest complaint that exists is that Fanfics and Patreon both retain 20% of earnings from all creators off the top. Now, this means creators only keep 80% of their earnings. To combat this, Groupii will fit into the competitive landscape by allowing users to keep 100% of all earnings. Step 2 of building your business is coming up with a product roadmap and an estimated budget to complete your project. Now, for the product roadmap, I recommend starting with an MVP, also known as the minimum viable product. The minimum viable product is going to be the most bare bones version of your product that will allow users to transact, will be easy to use, and will allow you to create revenue streams. Now, the 3 things that I recommend when building your MVP are focusing on ease of use, the ability to solve your customers' problems, and the ability to create revenue. This will allow your MVP to function as a fully functioning product without actually having all of the product features that you'll eventually want to build in the future. When assessing the budget for your startup, you have to take into account numerous factors such as where your company is located, where you're looking to source employees, who you're looking to market to, and what kind of product you're looking to build. Now, this can vary very widely whether you're looking to build a healthcare startup, a software startup for musicians, or any other kind of business. So because of this variability in costs, I do recommend conducting research in your industry to figure out where it makes the most sense to build your product, where it makes the most sense to market your product, and how it makes the most sense to structure your build out. When creating your budget to build your startup, I recommend allocating for a few things. This will consist of design and engineering costs to actually build your product and design it, marketing costs for when you're ready to test your product and market it, legal costs associated with trademarking and actually founding your business, as well as recurring subscription fees such as cloud hosting for your domains and your servers. Over the last year building Groupii, I've created a budget using Google Sheets where I've tracked all of my expenses and costs, and I'm going to provide that to you for free with the link in bio. The third thing you're going to want to think about when building your business is where the money's coming from. Now, I know at the start of the video I said that I didn't get any professional funding, which is true. A lot of the funding for my business came out of my own pocket, but as well as from some family and friends. With that said, there are multiple ways that you can fund your business, consisting of family and friends funding, crowdfunding, bank loans, or funding with credit cards. There are positives and negatives to each of these. Family and friends funding is one of the safest and easiest ways to obtain funding, either via a gift or a loan. This is simply just reaching out to family and friends, explaining your business idea, and asking them to invest in your business. Now, this can have negative consequences on your relationships if you don't adequately explain the risks associated with investing in an early stage startup. So be sure to explain that this is risky, although if they believe in you, they should have no problem investing. Crowdfunding is another great way to get investment without the traditional risks of bank loans or credit card repayments. months. This is simply uploading your project to a site like Indiegogo or Kickstarter, explaining to the masses what your product is and why you're looking to fund it, and allowing people to fund your project while giving them something small in return, such as a t-shirt or free access to your product. This is a great risk-free way to get investment for your product. Two of the more traditional methods that people use to fund their businesses are either using a professional bank loan or using credit cards to pay off their debts. Now, I don't always recommend these methods because number one, you're going to accrue interest that you'll have to pay back on top of your initial loan. But number two, if you're not able to pay back the loan within the allotted time period, then you will have to declare bankruptcy, and that's not going to be good for anybody. I hate to tell you this, but it's true, so I feel like I have to. When you're building a business, you're probably going to end up spending either double or triple what you've allocated for the business. When I first started building my MVP, I allocated $10,000 to building this project, and because of the amount of iterations and product features and changes that had to be made to get this product through beta testing and out the door, it ended up becoming more like $30,000. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen to everybody, but please just be prepared. The initial cost that your development agency gives you and your graphic designers and whatnot may not be your final cost. One of the most, if not the most critical part of building your business is going to be finding technical engineers and graphic designers that can help bring your product to life for an affordable cost that fits your budget needs. Two of the best places to look for these technical teams, such as engineers and graphic designers, are going to be marketplaces like Fiverr and Upwork. These are marketplaces that allow you to find talent, whether local or foreign, that will fit your monetary needs, your graphic design needs, and your product capabilities. Once you've chosen a technical team and you're ready to get started building your business, you're going to have to form a legal entity. Now, this is going to consist of choosing what kind of business that you want to be, as well as filing legal protections such as trademarks and legal forms that are required to start your business. The type of legal entity that you choose is going to vary greatly on what you want to do as a business and what jurisdiction you're operating in. In the case of Groupii, I ended up filing as an S corporation here in the state of Florida. This is because the S corporation here provides safeguards within my industry and niche that I wouldn't have anywhere else, and also allows for easier tax breaks. Now, to figure out what type of business entity you should file for with your business, whether it's an LLC, C Corp, S Corp, I highly recommend partnering with a group like ZenBusiness.com. Now, ZenBusiness.com is a platform that will allow you to work with registered agents and professionals to help you file the right forms for the right entity depending on the business that you're looking to create. In my experience, it costs somewhere between $600 to $1,000 to file all the necessary forms, which in the long run is not a lot, and you'd probably end up paying a lot more to just hire an attorney externally. In addition to registering your business, you're also going to want to consider trademarking your business assets, as well as potentially hiring a freelance attorney to draft necessary documentation to safeguard your business. In the case of trademarking, I ended up using this freelance attorney for both via, again, the Upwork marketplace, where I found a freelance attorney that worked within my budget and monetary needs. Now, this freelance attorney via Upwork helped me file 4 trademarks for my business. This consisted of our brand name, our brand slogan, and 2 creative assets related to our logos. This was filed via the USPTO, also known as the US Patent and Trademark Office. This can be done yourself, although it's a much more tedious process, and I would really consider leaving it to the professionals. When it comes to safeguarding your business, there are some legal documents that you need to have in place that will protect your brand from harm's way and from potential lawsuits in the future. In the case of Groupii, these documents were our privacy policy, terms and conditions, and our content usage policy. These documents legally safeguard us according to the usage terms and content that's posted on our site from potential lawsuits in harm's way. This was also filed via our Upwork attorney and was a minuscule cost, somewhere between $500 to $1,000. Once steps 1 through 6 are finished and you have a legal business entity and a minimum viable product, you're going to want to beta test amongst users in your niche. This is to figure out where improvements can be made with the product, and are users having a good enough experience where they'd be willing to pay you for this service. In the case of Groupii, I ended up focusing on having conversations with music artists, music managers, and music labels to figure out what gaps were missing in the product and how to convert as many users as possible come launch time. Because of this beta testing, I ended up discovering 2 really critical things that our product was lacking. The first being our sign-up flow was far too long, and that users were dropping off halfway through the sign-up form because they just couldn't stand how long it was. The second being there was a critical feature that was missing that musicians were requesting, which was in-house crowdfunding for musicians. Now, I went back to my development team, asked them to implement these 2 new feature improvements, and now our interaction is up 100%. So I do highly recommend going through beta testing before hard launching your product to learn what's missing and how you can improve the product to improve the user experience. In conclusion, there are 3 major lessons that I learned building my business from scratch with no technical experience or major funding sources. The first being, beware of your budget. I ended up spending 3 times the amount producing my application versus what I thought I would spend initially based on my research. The second lesson that I learned is to be very clear and concise about your project roadmap and deadline when communicating with your technical team that's building the project. Groupii has taken 3 times as long as it should have because our project deadlines were not clear and we didn't have a specific roadmap when it came to these new iterations post beta testing. So while this project should have been finished up by July, it's now November and the project still isn't done and we're still about 2 weeks away from relaunch. So beware when you're communicating with your technical team that deadlines can be extended and unforeseen things can happen. The third lesson that I learned is just because there are competitors in your industry doesn't mean that you can't carve out a niche for yourself. There are lots of competitors in the content creation space and the creator economy, but that doesn't mean that there's not space for multiple players. So don't be discouraged if you do market research and see other players in the space. Just make educated decisions based on market opportunity, growth opportunity, and your business offerings. As always, thank you so much for watching my video and tuning in with me to learn about how to build your business. If you want to learn more about how to take your business to the next level, please shoot me a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be sure to post more content like this for you in the near future. Thanks.